Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to episode 4 of the TrafficTroupe podcast. My name is Cab, and I think feet are so sexy, and I love feet pics, and that's send them in our DMs for the podcast channel. And this is my friend Blaze.
Hey, what's up? I think feet are kind of gross.
And this is my other friend, Johnny D.
I agree with Blaze. No feet, only tires.
Okay, well, here are two of my ex-friends, and we're going to go on and do the podcast.
Hey, wait a minute. Isn't it weird that both feet and tires, even though the latter is much better, can both have boots on them?
Whoa.
But with feet, you gotta pay to put boots on, but with tires, you gotta pay to take the
Gonna
boot
take
off.
them off. Deep,
Weird.
deep.
Wow.
We're starting off real deep.
I mean, if you paid enough, you could have someone take their whole feet off. But you gotta pay a lot.
Everyone has their price.
Actually, here, wait, really quick. Fun game to start it off. I saw this on another podcast that I can't credit because I forget. But it was if you you would get $10 for cutting off one finger, but then the next finger you cut off, you get 100. The next finger you cut off, you get 1,000. Right? It multiplies by 10. How many fingers would you cut off?
None.
0.
0.
I don't see why it's ever preferable to take away your body's ability to do anything, no matter how small.
Because you could cut like 10 fingers off and be a trillionaire and then get cybernetic hands.
Do they have to be mine, or can they just be anybody's? Like, I'll cut yours off.
Yeah, can we outsource this?
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
All right, well then, yeah, sure.
All right,
I'll go as many as you have. I'll remove
So
all.
Yeah, I'll give you more than 10.
You would cut off someone else. You guys are monsters.
You like feet.
You're putting
I
those
would
on
cut
the
off. Would
same
you
level?
like? Would you like feet if? Would you like feet if
Gosh,
we cut off all the
my-
toes and I made money off cutting off all your toes? Would you still like them?
This
No,
one
I don't
time,
think so.
this one time we caught a drifter and we cut off all his fingers to make, the world's wealth. And then, but you wouldn't believe what other friend did.
How do you think we paid for this?
No. Listen. I would cut them in on the share of the profits. It's only right.
You would cut me in?
Whoever's volunteering to lose some fingers.
What percentage are they getting?
We're all talking about different scenarios here.
Are you giving like 10%?
No.
I don't know. I haven't ran the numbers yet.
Well, if he was
I think I
polite,
could do
he
more
would
than
say-
10% though.
Well, if he's polite, he'd be like, "No, that's okay," and then he'd expect you to say, "No, I insist," and go back and forth a couple times so he gives his true number, but you would just say, "Oh, okay, fine," and leave. Then everyone's okay.
I don't know how we talk through the screaming. That's
Indoor voices.
You
You have to
guys
do it in
are-
a library, so he has to be quiet.
Who did I start a podcast with?
We already went over this. I'm Johnny D. He's Blaze.
Oh,
We
true.
are the Traffic Troupe.
And we're the Traffic Troupe.
I'm a Pisces.
Don't admit to us you have no family left to miss you. Welcome to the Traffic Troupe podcast. What would you? I heard that Blaze had a very fun weekend.
Yeah, so I went to Exotica over the weekend, and
And can you explain what that is?
yeah,
For
all
us
the kids at home.
newbies.
if you guys aren't familiar with it or haven't heard of it, it's billed as the world's largest convention dedicated to love and sex, but it's basically just kind of like a porn convention.
So they're overselling the love part.
No, I mean it's just I say it's basically just a porn convention because like that's who's like vast majority of the booths there are people working in the adult industry. They do have a few other booths, and then like there's like a little dungeon section, and then there's like a store, and then somebody that said they had it. I didn't really read into it too much, but there was a booth that was what did it say? I think it said Jesus loves porn stars or something like that.
Jesus loves everyone.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
so I have to say one of the I don't know, highlights are like the funniest things that made me laugh when I was there. So I was there actually with my with my girlfriend, and she kept seeing people walking around. There was some booth that was selling suckers that were shaped like penises.
Well, it's like going to Spencer's.
Yeah, so she comes up to me and she's like, "Oh, like I want to get a cocksucker. Like we got to find the booth so I can get a cocksucker." And I couldn't stop laughing at that.
I like that. That's very good branding.
We did not get a cocksucker, and I don't think they were called cocksuckers. I think they were called lollycocks or
Oh,
Doesn't
something
really
like
that's
matter.
that.
that sucks.
It's completely different.
Much more wholesome.
Much
Sure.
stupider. I I think it depends on the price, but I feel like that's almost like buying in bulk, right? It'd be much bigger than a normal lollipop.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know, like a sucker, like that's a one session type of thing. I don't understand giant suckers, right? Because who's saving a sucker for later? Like who eats part of a sucker? Does
Oh,
anybody
they,
do that?
they have like those like big unicorn one. I don't know if they still make those like those unicorn ones. They
Yeah, just the like at fairs and carnivals and
yeah.
whatever, probably Disneyland and World and all that. They've got these giant suckers. Like, does
They have,
anybody save it? Does anybody stop eating it, wrap it up, and continue? Has anybody ever done that?
I have done that.
You have.
Yes, as a kid, I had one of these things once, and I put on a piece of wax paper, which is really gross because like you're licking it, and then it just sits there for a day or two, and you go,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's disgusting. It
no,
shouldn't be
it is
done.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Um, I actually had an issue once, so related to an edible, that was a sucker, and apparently I found out. I don't know how much was in it because it wasn't like I don't know, like medical grade or whatever. Somebody just made it, and I wasn't supposed to eat the whole thing, but it's a sucker, so obviously I'm eating the whole thing. And that was an experience.
You were like the
It's a good
owl.
experience.
It was good and then bad.
Nice. You were like the owl. You went a one, a two, a three. Ow! Remember
A
from
three.
The Tootsie Pop commercial?
The world may never know.
The world may never know. Yeah, that's there was a famous Viner that once said a story about how he got expelled from school by doing a whole edible, and then the problem wasn't like when people do that. Uh, I'm not a big weed person, but when people do too much of it, apparently there's like I don't know, like almost like a you overdose on paranoia or like worry, right? Like people get so panicked
Yeah, like anxiety
that
attacks
they
or something
correct
from
and they
it
call the
if it's
police
too
on
much.
themselves, and
Yeah.
that happened. Did that
Yeah,
happen to you?
I've never been at that level where I'm like, you know, yeah, that to me that's wild that anybody could get to that level actually that they were that paranoid or that anxious or something that like they would have to go to the hospital. Like it's strange to me,
Well, what
really.
would they do for you anyway?
I
Just like
think that I think that like I don't know. They wouldn't
maybe
do
give you
anything. They
Xanax,
would just they would
something like
just
calm you
like
down.
sit you down and be like, "Hey, it's fine. You're
Correct.
good. You
Well,
can
it's what
just
they
hang
would
out here
do.
for a little bit."
I'm assuming what they would just do for a normal panic attack. Like they probably bring you back in fluids and whatever. I don't think they just like have you in the lobby until you go home.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't imagine. I've been paranoid from weed before, but I can't imagine like thinking that I was gonna die or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the mind's crazy. I mean, back in the day, there was like mass hysteria and Salem witch trials, and You know, I think people can be tricked into things both by a community and by themselves.
Well, some say that the Salem witch trials were caused by ergot.
Yes, by ergot poisoning.
Yes.
Yeah, it's possible. I think they were actually witches. And I'm glad that the community
Witches get
rid the
stitches.
world of that evil satanic force. Because the world would be even worse nowadays if those
I
witches were
actually
Yeah,
still
what if we
uh,
there.
still had witches? Ugh.
I actually just watched something about it was so ridiculous. This guy is a demon hunter. So people pay him to get rid of demons
Is that
or
an
advise.
anime?
No, this is a real human being that exists in the real world. I saw this on YouTube, and so this the show that I watched. Um, it was actually Rhett and Link, but it wasn't like their show. It was just I guess they have a channel that's just Rhett and Link or something. They did that and they went to because they were saying when they growing up they never played Dungeons and Dragons. Because they grew up really religious and it's like, oh, it's the devil or whatever, you know. Um,
Oh
so they
yeah.
want, but they want it, and they don't feel that way anymore, and they wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons. But I think the whole kind of joke of it was, oh, we're gonna hire a demon hunter and take him with us to play Dungeons and Dragons. And like this guy was serious. Like this guy was the most. Um, he was not like being a parody of something. Like he really was like selling all this stuff. Um, well, maybe here's the thing. Maybe he's just doing it all for like profit, and he knows he's full of shit, or that's what I hope, because that's better to me than somebody like being that far gone with reality that they think that all of that is like that playing in literally playing Dungeons and Dragons, or like he's like, oh, smoking, oh, you're letting in a demon. You drink alcohol, there's a demon coming in you. Anything you
I
do, there's a demon coming in you.
I saw this thing on YouTube the other day. It was called Breaking the Silence, and it was made by an Amish person who stopped being Amish. It was very interesting. There's a whole bunch of episodes. I watched like 3 or 4 of these, and I really thought about the Amish and the Mennonites and all those. Like, just, I mean, they know that the outside world exists. Like, you just must be bored as hell. And they were talking about you know, like how they live every day, and like, just sounds so boring.
Well,
I mean, I've had people that try to like I don't know. You find some people like somebody I know was talking about like, oh, like yeah, what if we could just live like that? We wouldn't be like
You don't even have
polluting
to be
the
Amish to
world
do that. You
and
could just live by yourself and just churn butter and never use the electricity and all that. You could be honestly, you could be like basically Amish in a suburban house. Don't use the running water. Don't turn off your electricity. Turn off your natural gas, and just live Amishly.
well, you say
Anybody.
suburban, but like okay, if you don't use water, if you don't use running water, like people have wells that don't use running water. I don't think
Yeah,
in
but that still goes
suburbia
into
there's
the house.
wells.
If you can live like in the I'm using suburbs as like just like a generic anywhere in the Western world kind of thing. You can live in the suburbs and not have like city water or whatever. You it doesn't even matter if you're not using it. You could just like live close to a stream and you go to the river every day and fill up a bucket or whatever and come home and do Amish things. Live your best
I think
Amish
if
life.
it was like a rural place
But see,
somewhere,
it's the thing, they
maybe.
always
But
assume that the Amish live rural, and most of them do. However, to my knowledge, there's no rule say like you can't be within, 50 miles of city limits, or you could just live an Amish-esque, an Amish adjacent, if you will, lifestyle anywhere. You can live it in Manhattan or Los Angeles. You can be the only Amish person. Can an Amish person live anywhere?
oh yeah. There was a. We might have watched the same video. There's this
Yeah, because it would
guy.
be like illegal. You can't discriminate. Sorry, no Amish here.
I mean, that's what I do. Not in my backyard. You know what I mean? The
You're an NB.
all horse and buggies are banned from my block. If I see it, if I see your Surrey with a bow on top or whatever, you're out. The There's this guy named Shao Ma, who speaks like 15 languages or whatever, and he makes YouTube videos. And he recently did one with the Amish people where he spoke Dutch German or something. There's a certain language they speak. And what I didn't know until watching that video last week was that there are different types of Amish,
Yes.
which should seem obvious. There's sects of every religion, but it's something I never put together in my head. And there's different levels of conservative and orthodoxness.
That's what this video was showing. It was they were talking about like a chainsaw, and this Amish, like the main Amish family's video went to some other Amish community, and they were like, oh well, why can't we do this? You're doing that. I'm like, oh, because we like basically wrote the rules. As whoever starts the Amish community can basically write their little charter of like what's allowed in it. Like, so like this Amish community, yes, you can have this, but in that one, no. So I didn't know that it was like that. I thought they all were very strict, like, all the Catholics follow what the Vatican says, kind of that kind of thing. I figure all the Amish have the same thing. And I guess they do have their all like prayer book, but how they live their life, they can all do different things. And that's
Correct.
very
Yeah.
interesting. So if you want to go be Amish but not too Amish, you could go to all the different Amish communities and find one that has just your enough Amishness for you. And I guess you can I don't know how they own their land or whatever, but I guess you could just buy something and just start being Amish.
Yeah,
Correct.
just be
Yes.
Amish in the suburbs.
I'm
Yeah,
Amish.
why not? Be Amish anywhere.
I didn't know. Wait, so hold on. Is Amish a religion?
Yes, they're
I,
they're Christian. They are Christian.
okay.
They're
So there's a very
Amish.
religious aspect to it. I don't know if it's. I guess it's religion.
Haven't you ever heard the song Amish Paradise by Weird Al?
That's
Um,
exactly what it's like. Yeah.
probably. I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is even though I physically am a car, I'm Amish. That's all I know.
Maybe we should bring like a buggy on here to talk about Amishness.
We should. There was a no, but that's the thing I was gonna say about the video is that there's Amish people that can drive, which I like. I thought that was the cardinal sin. I thought they hated us. I thought they were vehicle phobic, but
I've never been driven by an Amish, but I mean, they're
I mean I've been
what I do is kind of near what they do a lot. So
true. I mean I've been ridden by an Amish, but I've never been driven by an Amish. You know what I mean? Pow pow. I think it's very interesting. I think you bring up a good point, which is that it's so interesting how people will complain about certain aspects of society when really truly the option is always there to completely remove yourself if you want.
that's true.
I
No, that's
understand
very
that's an
true.
extreme example and that's not what they mean. They just want certain things to change, but they
no, it's
always
true.
have that option.
Especially now, you can very much curate what comes into your little world or not. You don't want to have anything to do with the news, then don't. You only want to watch videos or have content that, goes to your way of life, go your echo chamber or whatever, sure, you can. You really have, especially now, a lot of choices to really curate what comes into your life or not.
Yeah. And if you want to watch the best podcast in the world, the TrafficTroupe podcast, make sure you follow and subscribe, and then you can see it. That always be plugging, guys. That's what Mark Cuban taught me when we hung out the other day. Hey, so really quick, during this lull, sorry for anyone that's watched the first couple episodes and heard a squeakiness every 4 seconds. That was my chair, and I didn't realize it until I watched some stuff back. So I have gotten a different chair. Can we get a round of applause? So there should be less squeaking. There still will be beer cans opening because those are very loud. I don't know how to dampen that noise, but thank you for sacrificing your ears for the squeaking. Speaking of squeaks and little squeaky toys, like dogs have squeaky toys. what do you guys think about Barbies?
I always thought Barbie was. Well, I mean, I don't know. How do I start? I always thought. I mean, like I had friends growing up who had Barbies, and I always thought it was strange how most dolls, and I guess they're like different kinds. I never really thought that much about it, but like most like baby dolls or whatever, it's like this is my baby and I'm going to care for it. And I'm going to pretend to be its mom and all that. And then Barbie comes around, and not only do she has different clothes and crap. But I remember seeing the commercials, and it's like, but it always comes with another Barbie. I always thought that was weird because now you have all of this same girl hanging around when really don't you just want her clothes and her accessories and stuff? I always thought that was strange. So if you're this little girl and you have your Barbie and you buy another Barbie because you want the new outfit or whatever the hell she's got going on, then it's like Barbie number one isn't special. You're just buying her for her clothes. And that explains why all these friends I had growing up, the girls, they always had this box of naked barefoot Barbies, and that explains a lot. You just buy her for her clothes, right? Is that how that goes? I always thought that was strange.
I did notice that too. I had a cousin that was like, I think she's like maybe 5 years older than me or something. And growing up, 100%, I would just find like if I was around her like stuff or toys or something. You're right. There's just a million naked Barbie dolls laying around. Like
Well,
so
right.
that's like a thing. I don't get it either. But I do know that I found one once.
You only need one Barbie. You just want all the outfits, right?
and I actually, so I ripped the head off. Actually, no, it was a Ken doll to be specific. I ripped the head off of the Ken doll, and then she had trolls with the colorful hair,
Are you
Yeah.
the little
Sid
troll
from Toy
dolls.
Story?
I stuffed like the troll hair in the decapitated Ken neck. And then later that same day, all of a sudden, like I'm completely somewhere else because I was at her place, probably playing games on her on my uncle's computer or something. But like, I just hear her shriek, and I just start cracking up. I'm like, oh, she found it.
You're
Yeah.
sick. Oh, I was at my cousin's and like they had this like guinea pig. It's a incredible joke. I skinned the guinea pig and then wore its fur as a coat. And oh my god, she freaked. What a good prank. You're psycho. You're
I
the
just figure
This is
aren't
great.
you supposed to have some emotional attachment to your kind of toy? I guess Barbie's
Not
different
if
from
you
like a
just
baby
leave it
doll.
butt naked, thrown in the corner.
Well, yeah, but you
Like,
don't. Well, that's what I'm saying is you don't need new Barbie because you have
it's
old
not
Barbie.
like
You
the
just need,
right thing to do to
yeah,
see just like a
yeah, you need new Barbie's
neglected.
clothes to put on old Barbie who you already have some sort of emotional attachment to. That's why I thought it was so weird.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to nurture the doll or whatever. But, I mean, Barbie's like what 20 or something as opposed to like a baby doll. Maybe it's different. I don't know. I just thought that was strange. And I also think it's strange how there's such every couple years, like 5 or 7 years, there's a renewed hate for Barbie where people blame her for all societal ills. And I don't know, I just think people who hate Barbie are jealous of Barbie. She
same.
can do everything. She always knows where the party is. She's fashionable and stuff. Like people, isn't that what everybody wants to be? You always want to know where the party is. You always want to look good doing it. You want to have any career option available to you. You want to have a nice car and a nice beach house, whatever. People who hate Barbie are just jealous of Barbie.
Yeah, she just has endless opportunities. I mean, she gets to work every single job. Like who
Right.
who does that? Like she has, you know, no background in like no, she didn't go to med school or anything, but they just here, you're a fucking
Right.
doctor now. Go
She's
for it.
naturally good at everything.
You were a secretary last week, you're a doctor this week.
Right. She's the doctor and nurse
Next
and files all the insurance paperwork all at the same time.
yeah,
She's
next
the
week
best.
she'll be a firefighter driving me around.
And look at nice. And
Hell
look
yeah.
great doing it.
Yes. Get it.
You
Slay.
go, Barbie. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, that actually it's so interesting because I don't have any Barbie knowledge again besides going to someone's house and there being 40 naked Barbies there. Um,
Dolls are weird when you're a boy. They're like this whole
well,
foreign
so
thing.
they are and they aren't, right? So I was really into wrestling. And I had all the wrestling action figures, and however, they all looked different. They were all the person, right? So you would get the Undertaker, and you would get Mankind, and you would get Rikishi, and you'd get all of them being different, and they would come with different weapons and accessories and all that stuff. And accessories, they would come with their little
Folding
dream house
chairs.
and uh, the Rock Malibu Dream House. Um, the but that's the one thing. Speaking of Barbie, the one thing I didn't get is it's always just Barbie, right?
Yes.
They didn't look different.
No, why would you change perfection?
See, you nailed it. See, now I have it
Mhm.
figured all out. You can't change perfection. Wow. Mattel had it figured out.
We'll talk about weird doll noticings when you're a child. I always thought it was strange how there like some girls had dolls that like you don't like Barbie, you could just like strip her naked for her clothes and throw her in a pile, whatever. But then there's dolls like the American Girl dolls, and like you can't touch those. Those are just like for having, not for enjoying or carrying around. I always thought that was weird too. The girls would all like grab their American Girl doll, like all sit in a circle and just like exist. I thought that
Yeah.
was strange.
You bring them to the country club, and you. American Girls dolls are dope, though, right?
They have
They have storybooks and all that
actual
stuff.
American. There's like an actual like American Doll cafe where people
Yeah,
do go,
it's the whole thing. It's like a
and they have
cultural.
like real food for people too.
I think that's tight.
Yes.
I'm a big
It's
fan.
full. How about those like dolls? There's a name for them. I forgot they are. It's like two
Real
first names or
dolls?
something. No, they're like supposed to be very lifelike babies, and they're like adults collect them so they can always have like this baby experience, but the baby never grows up, kind of thing.
Oh.
The real doll thing though, oh man, that put me on a segue. Um, when I was at Exotica, we saw so the real dolls the you know they're like super expensive, top of the line like sex dolls, but they had some kind of like lower end sex dolls at one of the booths, and oh man, they're kind of creepy. I
Or
don't
like
know.
ones that have like damage or something done to them, or like
No,
did their
no,
teeth
no. It
or
was just like
entry level.
I touched it and it didn't. It just felt like not slimy as in like it felt slimy. It just didn't feel
Uh,
like like human skin at all. Not even in the closest. And then the fingers were kind of weird, and the toes back
the
onto
back
the
of
feet
this,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
You would have Johnny would have lost your mind if you would have saw these feet. I'm telling you, you would have been like, you already don't like feet. This will ruin. If you like feet, looking at these feet will ruin feet for you, because the toes had like they were
Webbing.
just like wiggly. Like you could just slap them and they would like go up and down.
Some people need that.
Nothing like what a real toe would be, in the slightest.
I, all I know about that whole product line is this is probably outdated information. It was like 10 years ago. Is I saw there was like a Dateline, Nightline, one of those things, and where they were talking, interviewing people who buy these things and have like real relationship with them. Like they go to dinner together and things like that. And they were talking about the process of how you order them and you customize their hair and their whatever, their mouth or whatever. And it came to the time to select pubic hair. And there was a lady, an older lady, as I recall, who was explaining this because she worked for the company that made them. And like, you can specify how much you want, but if it's something like out of the ordinary, like you want more than most people require, they send you a little box of extras so you can decorate it yourself and stick where to put it. So this has obviously come up where somebody wanted this, like, Sasquatch-esque hill doll. And I thought that was interesting. Like, that's going on.
I've
Aww.
seen I've seen like I don't know if this is how it works with the real doll type things, but I've seen like people that just make really super lifelike dolls. Actually, I think this is going back to what you were saying, Johnny. Like these really super baby dolls, like lifelike baby dolls, where they actually do like the hair is like I think real hair, and
Yeah.
they
And they have
actually
like
thread it.
they have like a heartbeat in them and stuff like
They
that to
actually
scare the
thread
baby.
the hair into the
Oh,
synthetic skin, like
that's
hair
really
by
cool.
hair. Like
That's
it takes an insane amount of time. I have to imagine.
Yeah. It is those.
yeah. And
It's follicle by follicle. They make it. Uh, and they do
I know
it
the
really
ones that I hear
realistically.
they have
They
like a
time
heartbeat.
it.
There's like a little
What?
motor in there, and they have like a heartbeat. So they like you can pull them up to you can put your like ear to their chest, and you hear the little heartbeat and stuff. It's very creepy.
That's weird.
Yes.
I don't want. I don't want a doll with a heartbeat. I think that's yeah, all the things that are supposed to be realistic, like I don't know, I think some things are cool when they're like when art's done realistically, but there's those babies, there's people make little kitty cats that are super realistic, like where they do each hair by individual. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a sleeping cat. It's like a little statue people have.
No.
No, I have no idea what you're
Oh,
talking about actually.
people make these like really realistic cats. That freaks me out. I don't like things that are real. I like things that are weird car creatures.
Well, I mean, the thing
Like
that's
The
creepy,
anthropomorphic cars are really the height of this whole thing.
the thing that was always creepy to me about dolls is that, especially too, the more real they look, it's just like a lifeless person, and
Yes,
that's creepy.
it's in the
It's like a dead person. Like dolls are like dead babies. That's how I view dolls. That's why they're really creepy to me.
they're they're like just in the image of a human being. They're not
Yeah, but it's
human themselves. Yeah,
completely lifelike, and completely lifeless.
they kind of hit that uncanny valley sort of thing.
Yeah, it's creepy. Dolls of like growing up, I was like Chucky was like the biggest thing I was afraid of. I was so afraid of Chucky.
Same. I had this My Buddy doll thing that was like
Yes, I
was
remember those.
is that what they modeled Chucky
My
after or
buddy,
something? It was like a little
my
thing with
buddy.
the
Yeah,
overalls um
yeah, I
and
remember those things.
luckily I never made the connection because I really liked that thing. But I remember looking back and thinking, "Oh my gosh, was that like a Chucky doll basically?" It was that whole like little, striped shirt overall thing.
Yeah, I think that was what the inspiration for Chucky
Yeah.
actually.
Okay, so here's something to consider. I just Googled lifelike baby doll and I came to ashtondrake.com and I'm looking through them. And one of them, and it's normal, for lack of a better term, baby boy, baby girl, baby boy, girl. And then all of a sudden, we come to Lumina, the alien baby doll with glow in the dark vinyl skin. So if you want a
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
lifelike
whoa.
alien doll, you can.
What's it called?
The website,
No, the doll name that's the alien.
Lumina. It's for Roswell's 75th anniversary, and it costs $99.95, or available in 4 payments of $24.99. So you can have an alien lifelike baby too. So
I
now,
mean, here's the problem.
Oh
Like,
my
if
gosh,
that's
it
what you're
is.
buying, if
Look how
that's what you're
cute it
buying, and you
is.
gotta be on a payment plan, you're making bad life decisions,
all right,
real
like you
bad
can't even
life
afford your
decisions.
fake baby. I mean,
No, but look. Aw.
it is kind of
It looks
cute.
just like an alien. It looks like all the other aliens that I've seen.
Yeah, but it's a baby,
And it glows in the dark, just like all aliens do.
just like all babies
Oh,
do.
it's so cute. Wait, we have to get something, right? Huh.
I mean, these are cute. I can understand that. Like, I know that there's been people. Oh, here's another one too.
They have
There's
toddlers?
one.
See, that's creepy. That's creepy.
They have full toddlers, dude.
Yeah, you can buy a baby. I've seen people use these
I
for
have nightmares.
we're gonna have like a
Oh!
well, like I've heard people use these as like a coping mechanism, as like a therapeutic thing, and I can understand that, I guess, but I mean, this is kind of unusual.
Wait, isn't there a show like a what's the guy's name? M. Night Shyamalan?
Here's one. It's called
Didn't he produce a show about like one of these babies? Like that was the thing. It was like a coping mechanism. But
I don't know about that, but here's one that you can help the baby learn to walk. It simulates holding the baby's hand so it learns to. Oh boy,
You
wow, this is
can't
really
teach
deep.
me how to walk. I'll teach you how to run away. Ah!
I, We've opened up a rabbit hole with this. Like, huh?
The toddler sent me. That was too much. I do think it's beautiful though, like you said. I think people use it as a therapy or like replacement, whatever, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of very hurt people in this world.
But
Uh,
they can still be creepy. But that's like
uh
how
I
you know.
feel like that's weird. Like that's really to me. I don't see how. I'm not obviously I'm not a like a fucking therapist or something, but I can't see how that's healthy to a healthy way of coping with something. Because
I don't either, really.
what
But
happens when the person like literally just stays attached to that baby forever now?
I mean, well, here's the thing. What I was gonna say is, I could see that is when you get to like end of life issues or somebody who has like a severe dementia, sometimes
Okay,
they sort of will go back in time, like in their mind, like,
sure.
oh, it's actually 1980, and that's when my daughter was born. They still think it's 80, and they need like, oh, where's my? They don't recognize their adult daughter because she's like 40 years old, and they need like, and they're insisting that there's a baby, maybe something like that. When someone is so mentally has like deficient that they've end of life sort of thing. That's the only thing I could really think of.
Yeah, I guess that. Sure. But I feel like generally speaking, it's just I don't know. It
Correct.
seems strange.
Normally, if that's not you and you are trying to go back to living some sort of normal life, eventually you're going to have to come to the terms that the quote unquote real baby is not a real baby, and you are going to have to rehabilitate. That's true.
Yeah, I just think it's I think it's so interesting too. Fears, right? You're talking about being afraid of dolls. Uh, I feel like there's certain fears that just because they're societal fears, like they're horror movie tropes, kind of, you kind of learn these fears from your parents or from your friends or society or whatever really young. Like, I feel like all of my first fears were, you go into an antique shop and you just know that you're supposed to be afraid of the doll on the shelf, even though you're 5, 6 years old, you know? There's like things you're supposed to be afraid of, or clowns or whatever. I think that's kind of interesting.
I was never afraid of clowns. I never understood that.
Really?
No.
Oh, I can understand it. I don't think I ever was afraid of clowns, but I get it, right? It's like you're afraid of them being like too nice or something, or like too joyful that's like devoid of humanity or something.
Yeah, that never bothered me.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was ever scared of clowns, but just like Cap said, I think I could understand why people would be. There's something weird. Yeah. I
Well,
think too.
it's
I
kind
think
of the
too.
uncanny valley thing. It looks human, but also isn't. No one has pure white skin and weird eyes and whatever, and rainbow hair. It looks human. It behaves human. It can communicate you as if it were human, but it does not look or truly behave human. I think it kind of falls in that same category.
Maybe. I mean, but a clown is a person though.
Right, but
That's
it's such an exaggerated. It's an exaggeration of a human. It's not. It doesn't look normal. You don't see this kind of person walking down the street or at the grocery store. It's kind of a perversion of the human image. It's human-esque, but it's not quite right.
clowns. The perversion of the human image. Man,
Yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
that's the title for something.
Yeah, right. Go ahead and write a poem, Robert Frost. Was he a
I
poet?
just never found yes,
Yes, I'm a genius.
I just never found clowns bothersome.
Um, Speaking of things that are so poetic to say, um, we had this discussion. I can't remember if it was at the tail end of the podcast or we were just talking about it. The the whole when people dating profiles. I know some of us are beyond the profile dating stage or whatever, but um, the just a Pam looking for my Jim, or just a Jim looking for my Pam, or all those sort of like things that almost like the fears. They're like built into society. They're like things you're supposed to say, or my dog. What's the thing, Johnny? Like my dog better like you or something. What is it?
Right. Like my dog has to approve of you, or my dog
Yeah.
will always come first.
Whenever I see these things, it's hard to tell if they're being sincere, if they think they're being unique, or if they are just doing it because they know that's what they're supposed to write or something. Because I've done that too, right? Like I'm not
I
even
think it
accusing people
is.
of doing it. I'm saying like I've fallen into that of saying what you're supposed to say. I feel like I fall
I
into that
think
all the time.
it's. I honestly think it's like laziness. Like people, it's not just laziness, but it's like kind of going along with what you said. But so someone will put like it's like putting no effort into a profile. Like a lot of people don't like filling out these profiles because it's weird and it's like, oh, what do I say?
Well, just say,
Oh,
"Here's my
sometimes
Instagram.
you'll
Look
even
me on there," or something like
you know
that, or
even worse than
"Just ask me." Yeah, stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, just ask me. Like you see that and like that's somehow I think maybe worse almost even. But it's almost just as bad because it is kind of like people that they can't think of anything fun or creative to say themselves, so they just say what everybody else says and think, I don't know. I guess they think maybe people won't notice that and you've literally become a trope.
I
Like
actually knew a woman who thought that she was the first one to come up with "just a Pam looking for my gym" on her dating thing, and we're all sitting around the table, and we were talking about this very subject, and she's like, mine says "just a Pam looking for my gym," like The Office, and like she thought she was the first one to ever come up with this. I guess on her thing, she's never seen anyone who was a gym looking for a Pam, and she thought that she had just come up with a real winner there.
maybe
And
there's just no originality in the world.
Well,
maybe she was the first one to come up with it. I don't know. So I don't really know.
I
But
doubt
she
it.
was just, oh, she couldn't have been. And she was just having the time of her life telling us about this. And, I wish I could be that happy that easily.
I do have a fun like so when I don't really use dating apps that much anymore, but like uh when I was I think on Tinder, I'll never forget my favorite like opener, like because you think like once you match with somebody, like oh, that's the thing about that too, is like you got to think of something creative to say, because if you just say some boring stuff, even if you already matched, they're just gonna be like whatever. um to this ratio wise, especially women get so many more matches than men, so like if you come with some lazy shit, they're just gonna move on to the next. But my favorite opener. Okay, I won't start it then. I'll start with what her profile said.
okay.
So her profile uh said, I want to get married and have lots of babies, like 6 of them. That's what her profile said. So I read that and I was like, I don't know. A part of me is like, this seems so goofy that it has to be like a joke. Like, I don't know. I didn't read that and take it seriously the same way that like somebody might say, oh, my dog comes first, or my like all that types of stuff too. So I took it kind of like that, but it was actually, I don't know, felt original and it made me kind of laugh.
Well,
Yeah.
here's a question. If there's dating apps for all kinds of people, look at all
I
kinds of
didn't.
things.
Well, can I finish the story before we get into your
Oh, I
question?
thought you were done. Okay,
No,
good.
I didn't. I just said the opener. I just
Proceed.
said what her profile was. I didn't say what my opener was.
And it
And
was.
it was, I'll give you 400 babies.
Aw,
Yeah, way to exceed expectation.
yeah, that's nice. She'll have a litter.
We did meet. We did make 0 babies. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh well, you're a liar.
I know you were trying really hard. Yeah, you lied.
yeah,
I know
I
that
did. I
relationship
did.
didn't
I
work.
lied.
You could have at least bought her 6 of those dolls.
True. At least.
And you're gonna say that there's dating things like farmers
Yeah.
only for your tractor ass?
Well, more along the lines of like, there's like gay dating apps and there's lesbian dating apps. So on these ones, does anyone ever be like, I'm just a Pam looking for another Pam, or I'm Jim looking for another Jim?
They would say like, I'm Stanley looking, just a Stanley looking for my creed.
I mean, can two Jims find each other in this crazy world?
Oh yeah. Even though not to get too office nerd, but I think a relationship that consisted of two gyms would utterly fail.
Well, that's any
About
relationship
two,
and any two same people. Like,
No.
you don't think
I
so?
think
two
I
Michaels
think
would get
two
along
Angelos would be
swimmingly.
very successful. I think two Stanleys would be successful.
No. I don't think I don't think
Absolutely.
anybody having a partner, romantic partner that is themselves would work.
That
Hot
would be
take.
weird.
I don't know. As the resident office expert, I can tell you.
This has. I mean, I'm not.
in canon. What?
Not even having anything to do with The Office, but you know what I mean. Like,
This is
generally
Office
Okay,
speaking.
well, Blaze, like you're polyamorous. Could you be like, we're a Jim and a Pam who already found each other, and we're looking for another Jim and Pam to Jim Pam with?
So, are you
Does
saying that
this
the
work?
dating app that we need is Pam
Pam
and Jim
Finder.
dating, office dating? That
Yes. Are
sounds
you,
like
instead
an
of
app.
male or
That's a
female,
whole
are you
different app.
Pam or are you Jim?
That's a whole nother different app I just described.
Yeah,
Whoops.
I like Office.
We are three Pams in a gym looking for two Jims to join our Pam Moramorous relationship.
Yeah, just a Jim and Pam looking for our Karen. In case you want to stay in the office world.
No, it has to be Jim and Pam. You can't bring other people into it. It's only you're either a Jim or you're a Pam.
What? It's like Barbie.
That's it.
It's
Yeah, Barbie too. Barbie's fine.
yeah.
Oh man, Jim and
Are
Pam,
you-
the new Barbie and Ken.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely a Jim. Are you guys a Jim or are you a Pam?
I don't even know anymore.
Well, who do you more
I
cosmically
probably am a
align with?
Jim. I would
Yeah.
think a Jim, yeah.
I don't see myself as a Pam.
Me either. This is
All right,
like
so
the
we
new,
are three Jims
I think you're a
having a
Pam, man.
podcast.
I don't know. I think
I-
you're a Pam.
I'm a Pam. No, this
Yeah, I
is like
think you're a Pam.
This is like the new alpha beta manosphere argument.
Well,
Dude, I'm so fucking Jim.
You wish you could
Fuck
hang
Jim
with the
Buck.
Jims.
Yeah.
You're a fucking Pam, and you always will be.
Yeah, how much do you make a year?
Classic
Fucking
Pam
Pam.
Wow, those are Pam figures, bro.
Gosh, if you and your friends don't sit around talking about crypto all day, you're a bunch of Pams. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like this is a very productive topic.
It is. I mean, it is if you're a
Oh.
Jim. If you're
We
driving
are
around
all
in
Jims.
your gym in your Bugatti as Jim,
So Pam is always worse than Jim. Barbie is always naked. And somewhere between that, there's a real doll that'll help you cope with end of life.
aw, that's so cute.
Come on, man. You gave our outro. That I feel like that has to be our outro. I know we
Take care of
usually
yourselves.
we usually
and
do
each
an
other.
hour, but that was like a pretty solid outro.
I refuse. We have to do an hour.
Well, you know
Uh,
what? Sometimes things don't have these nice wrapped up things like that. Sometimes it ends abruptly, and that's how ours is gonna end today. It's just gonna end.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
all right.
No outro today.
Mid sentence, I want you to cut it off. And
All right.
Deal.
All right, we agree. See how easy it is for three Jims to agree on things?
That's
If
what
there's a
I'm
Pam
saying.
here, we'd still be fighting about this.
You know what? I take that back. That was a very Jim move, my guy.
We're all gosh, life's so easy as a Jim.
I'm not even looking for a Pam anymore. This is fine.
Yeah.
It's all right. You can look for another. You can have another Jim. I actually no. I said
We
you
are
can't
three
have three
Jims
Jims.
looking to add more Jims to the Gymosphere.
Jim.
Pams
Jim,
need not apply.
Jim. Yeah. I just love Jim.
See, that was probably another podcast that's like three airplanes all talking about how they're Pams and they don't want any Jims around. So we should find them, and then we have a good, 1-to-1 ratio, Jim to Pam.
Oh, I'm in.
We can combine podcasts.
I'll start Googling.
Pam airplanes near me.
I don't think if there's another podcast where it's three vehicles talking, I'm gonna be very
Could be
upset.
boats. What if the Pams are boats?
Oh, I like that. Well, Pam loves
Mhm.
boats because in the wedding episode, they got married on a boat. Spoiler
So-
alert.
I so, I don't know. Now I'm gonna like go on a tangent and say that like The Office is so overrated. Like that show is
Kind of
it was a
become a
good show.
parody
It
of
was a
itself.
decent show, but it's not a show that anybody needs to watch as many times as people have watched it. Like I watched it once all the way through and I was like, that's chill. I had zero desire to watch it again. I thought it was a good show, but I had zero.
Well,
Yeah,
if you don't have
I
a personality, you can just watch The Office all day, and now you have a personality, and you can go on dating apps.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I think some people fall for the trap of making something their personality. I don't
Yeah,
think
that's true. That's not just The Office. That's anything.
Yeah, but also like I think it's an accident or something. Like I don't think I think there's a way to think about it that's like comes at it from a very like they're pathetic angle, but I think it's more just like sometimes people don't understand that they can just be themselves, and so they think they have to present themselves as Office fan or something. That's
Or My
like the
Little
angle
Pony
I
fan.
see it from when someone's like really obsessed with one thing or their dog or the office or whatever. I think it's more that they think they have to have a thing rather than
You really do?
just
I
being
don't know.
themselves. I think
I
everyone
don't
has
know.
something interesting, you know.
Maybe
I
some
think there's
people are
no one on
just
this earth.
basic.
I think there's no one on this earth that's just boring.
I don't disagree. Hard disagree.
We can
Yeah.
disagree.
I don't know. I
I've met
mean,
some pretty boring people in my life.
They might be boring in the moment, but I think if you if
if you
someone
poke them
starts
just right.
if you tickle them just right, I think if they I think once you get someone starting on their passions or whatever,
Well, if their passion is
Sure.
boring,
Yeah, if you don't find a shared commonality with their passions, then they are boring to you. I think boring is subjective. It's not, it's
I'll take
boring
that.
to me.
oh
It's
well,
boring
but
to
see,
me.
you're assuming.
If your whole personality is that you love The Office, you're boring to me. Because I saw The Office, thought it was a good show, but it's not like
I'm not trying to bully the
the
metaphor.
greatest show ever made.
Boring person, but what if you're both assuming that the person that might be subjectively boring has a passion, has an interest, no matter how weird or niche. What if somebody has no interest at all?
They do.
I think everybody has an interest on
No,
something.
that can't be possible. Of the billions of people that have lived,
Yes, it
there has to
can.
have someone who just has no interest at all.
I think it's
Statistically,
impossible.
like impossible.
Well, I think also again, if we're talking about subjectivity, if all it takes to be a interest is that they care about that thing more than everything else, irregardless of level, then I think everyone's
Actually,
interest.
if we want to get meta with it, somebody who is so objectively boring would be interesting just for that. Like, how do you work? Are you even sentient? Somebody that would actually be interesting. Not that their personality is interesting, but the fact that they exist at all is interesting. And we've come full circle. That's a good ending spot because that leaves people with food to think about.
No, it was worse than the other one, and we still have like 4
Yeah, well, we
minutes.
already shot that one. That one's over. No, I'm trying really hard here, guys.
No, you can't. It was natural. It was natural. It worked.
No, it has to
we're
be
gonna-
manufactured. We're faking it. We're
I
in
didn't even
showbiz
intend
now.
until it came out that I thought that was a good ending thing, but no, it's okay. Go ahead. We'll just keep running out the clock.
We have 5 minutes and 30 seconds left, and we have to manufacture it because we're gyms. Yeah, we can be over.
No, absolutely not. You're waiting those 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I'm gonna squeeze something in real quick.
Yeah.
I got a whole nother topic. Are you ready for
Go.
this?
Yeah, squeeze it.
What if we go over though?
Squeeze it.
Because
Go,
it's
go.
gonna be that riveting.
Squeeze.
I
Squeeze.
promise
Do
you.
it.
Squeeze.
Squeeze,
It's the
squeeze,
greatest
squeeze.
thing that you've probably ever heard. Will hear even. Uh, how do you guys feel about sweet meat?
No,
Uh,
it's weird. So
ah,
meat should be savory.
I mean, what, like honey glazed ham?
That would count. There's honey. Honey's
Well,
sweet.
yeah,
It's on a ham.
Then yum
Oh,
yum
now
or like
you.
yum.
sweet
Now
and
you.
or like sweet and spicy, like combo for like beef jerky or something, like a sweet
Yeah, that's what
teriyaki.
I'm saying. The
I
I don't
do
want
sweeter.
think
like I don't want like ice cream tier sweet meat. That would be weird. But like a little bit of sugar in there is okay, like a glaze.
so. Yeah, I think actually with that, I think spicy is like the perfect balance to sweet. If you're doing for something that's typically like savory,
True.
but uh, I was thinking about this because I was thinking about, and I've tried them multiple times from different places, and I feel like I should like them for some reason, but Bows.
Huh?
Yeah, yeah or nay?
What?
Repeat.
Bows.
Oh, like the
Wow.
buns?
Yeah.
Never had them.
Okay. Johnny?
No, I've never had that either.
Never had them. Oh.
I'm not sure what that is.
It's
Well,
a
go
bun.
get yourself a bow. Go get
Oh,
yourself a
wait, those
bow.
little Japanese dumpling things?
Yep.
Sure. I don't know if they're Japanese, but yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
they're like little round things that are kind of twisty.
Yes.
Yes, no, those are good.
With
I like
like
those a lot.
meat there's meat
Yes, yes.
inside of some dough. Okay,
Correct.
so
Yes, I like those a
my
lot actually.
really, so that based on your original reaction, that surprises me because to
Well, it's
me
like a barbecue. I've always had them. They're kind of barbecue, so that's Swedish.
it's like a sweet meat, but then the bun is sweet too. It's two sweet
I
things.
don't
Like
know that. Well, see, my bun that just was didn't taste the yeasty whatever. I think maybe we had different versions of this.
I've had uh unless we're thinking of something different, because like I've had them from several different places, because I always try them new places, thinking that maybe I'll like it, and I would never be able to eat like more than one.
Oh
I
no,
think
I
I'll
like
eat.
those. I've eaten a bunch of those. Weird.
Yeah. The sweeter the better.
And abruptly.
The
What?
sweeter the meat, the funner the seat.
Nice.
Ew.
And abruptly.
That's the ending.
Oh wait, repeat it.
You're ruining this, Cab.
I'm a stickler for the
The
time.
sweeter, the sweeter the
And
meat. I don't even know what that means. I said the funner the seat.
no,
Okay, the sweeter the meat,
The hotter the heat.
the funner the seat. Uh, no offense, but I'm not really into feet.
Oh,
fact.
that's what I'm talking
Mic
about.
drop. End it.
Mic drop ending. Well, everyone, that's the end of the podcast. The mic has been dropped. And
Fuck feet. But now
and
literally, that's gross.
and feet are mediocre.
Irish rule.